Mindy Grace, and you're watching the I-70 Hot Tag.
This is Handsome Scott Hansen, charmed, I'm sure, and you are so happy to be watching the I-70 Hot Tag.
This is Nixie XS, and you're watching the I-70 Hot Tag.
What's up, guys? I'm the Spotlight Logan Knight, and you are watching the brightest podcast in the world for professional wrestling, the I-70 Hot Tag.
I'm the natural Atlas Armstrong, and you're watching the I-70 Hot Tag.
What's up, everybody? It is one half of the beautiful people and 7-time women's world champion Angelina Love. And aren't you lucky? You are watching the I-70 Hot Tag.
Hey, I'm Marcus Buff Bagwell, and you are watching the I-70 Hot Tag, baby. Check it out, and remember, no matter what, I'm buff, and I'm still the stuff.
And now, CR Media presents the I-70 Hot Tag with your host, Chaos Chase, and the real Josh Elliott.
Oh, how long it's been. Holy moly. Talk about nostalgia. When I heard the intro, I was like, damn. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning into the I-70 Hot Tag. I am your host, Chase Riley. That is my partner, the real Josh Elliott. Josh, how have you been, sir?
I've been great, man. I have been fantastic.
Yes.
We talk about nostalgia, man. This is a long time coming.
Yes. Before we kind of get into everything and we'll give some time here for people to come in. But before we get into it, kind of just reflecting a little bit, when was the last time we were live? I think Austin Reddick was our last interview.
Yep.
Can't remember when that was.
It was Q1 of this year. I think it was like February.
Yeah. Maybe we were prepping for Light It Up. So to kind of reintroduce everything, guys. This is a show where we like to put over Kansas and Missouri, Midwest independent professional wrestling, if you will, the I-70 hot tag. The I-70 goes all the way across, especially through Kansas and Missouri. And the idea of this show is to, bring somebody on, a local talent, to introduce you guys and get you guys, acquainted with them, more familiar with them. And Josh and I have done that for 93 episodes. This is the 93rd. And this is our returning episode. Funny story. Josh and I were hanging outside of a venue we were looking at. And I was giving him stuff about, hey, man, so glad that you get to do Nostalgia Mania with your weird little friend, Brian J. Bebe. But when are we going to get to do the hot tag again? And Josh was like, I'm ready to go. Let's do it. I was like, okay. And then he was like, let's have an episode Thursday. And I was like, cool, let's do it. So excited to be back. And Josh, I'll let you do all the formalities.
Well, imagine, this is 93 episodes. Imagine we'd be in the 150s if we didn't stop.
Yeah, if you wouldn't,
it's my fault now.
Yes.
Yeah. You guys, if you guys are watching, we are live on the I-70 hot tag on Facebook. We're over at YouTube. We're live as well. We're also live on the Fountain City Pro Twitch page, which you can find at Fountain City Pro KC on Twitch. If you don't follow them, go give it a follow. We appreciate that.
Absolutely.
But man, we're looking to get back on a regular, consistent basis, and starting tonight with a good episode.
Yes, great episode. Crazy. I knew this was the second time that we are having Scott Hansen on, but it was crazy to think how long back that first episode was.
Yeah.
And if I remember correctly, I think you were absent that first interview.
I was not here. Yep.
Yeah. Cool. So we're gonna do this a little different tonight, man. We're definitely not. It's not as structured as it usually is. These questions aren't script like. We're gonna kind of go off the cuff here. Anybody who knows our guest knows how charismatic he is. So this is going to be fun to kind of even revisit questions and, ask a bunch of new questions. So Josh, I'll let you kick into it.
Yeah, man. Our guest this evening we've had him on. This is the second time on. Previously, he was not holding any championship gold, but right now he is the current reigning defending Mid-States Wrestling heavyweight champion. Let's bring on our guest this evening, handsome Scott Hansen.
They're back.
Yeah.
Episode 93. Look at you losers. You got families, you got jobs, you got wrestling promotions you're running. What, you don't have time for the podcast anymore?
That was my thing. I told him, I was like, dude, what are you doing at home raising 3 kids under the age of 7?
Yeah.
Man, you guys are kicking ass. I'm so honored to be the first one back in a minute, man. It's an honor. I love chatting with you guys. We're gonna cut it up real good tonight.
Yeah. Scott joins not a rare group, but a small group of people who have been on multiple times. Has Ray Leon been on 4 times, Josh, or 3?
Only 3. Thank God.
Okay.
He's always got a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So Scott, of course, we appreciate you joining us tonight. Kind of want to talk to you about, what you've been doing in the Kansas City area, as well as the South, a little bit up north. I think you're still at 3X, aren't you?
Yep. When they run shows, I've been running 3X. I've been running Ironheart Pro up in Minnesota.
Yep.
Minneapolis people. I've been making some towns this year.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. You know, I missed the first episode or the first time you were on, and so I didn't get a chat about this, at least live on the air. You and I have a connection up north where you attended high school, right? You played football, and
Yes,
this is gonna show my age, right? I played little league football with one of Scott's high school football coaches, John Geyer.
That's correct. Shout out Coach Geyer, man. I just, that's what I love about, the Kansas City, St. Joe area is, for as vast as it is, like, it's a giant ass small town. You're going to know somebody who knows somebody. And Josh was like, hey, John Geyer? I'm like, yeah, my coach from high school. He's like, dude, like, I've been friends with him forever. So I get into wrestling and I already know people. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah. So that's funny because when Josh was telling me that, I misunderstood. I thought John was Josh's little league coach and then was your high school coach.
Oh,
Nope.
Now I really get to make fun of him.
Yep.
Slightly different, but I could see how the words get jumbled there, and you're like, what?
That's great. Josh and I are the same, or Josh might be a year older than me, but I definitely treat him like he's much, much older.
Well, I act much older, so
yeah.
He's like his vet card.
Yeah.
So you started off playing football. Did you always know you wanted to be a professional wrestler, an independent wrestler, or how did that transition happen?
Man, from the time I first saw it, and I was kind of a late bloomer getting, into pro wrestling as a whole. I didn't start watching until 5th grade. So I was kind of, as I was getting into it, a lot of my friends were getting out of it. They were at the, wrestling's kind of stupid, that's silly stage. And I was diving head first. But I always had just this feeling. I was like, man, I want to do that. And then as I got older, and I got more involved in sports in high school, it was always just kind of on the back burner. Like, I wouldn't watch very much, but I would still keep up with like who's champions. I would check the website. So I would still kind of keep my ear to the grindstone, as they say. As I finished my football career in college, I was running out of eligibility, and I'm like, damn, I got to try that. Like, I want to stay busy. I want to have motivation to keep going to the gym and, staying fit and active. And long story short, I met the OG Niles Planquet, Craig Kieseman, at one of the gyms here in St. Joe. The rest is history.
That's awesome. Was his I don't know, did he run a promotion?
So yeah, this was kind of the crazy thing. He had Pony Express Wrestling for a few shows, but this was pretty recent after COVID, so I think the landscape was still a little rocky. But at the time he was training, about a half dozen of us. He's like, look, guys, I'm not running this adjacent to a promotion. This isn't formally a school. It was one of those, for the love of the game things. And so, starting out, we had to find we had to scrounge around and just shooting emails to everybody, just putting my name out there, waiting for somebody to give me a shot. Space Cowboy Jason Jones, JJ from Mid-States. He's like, hey, we're doing these TV tapings. You're welcome to come. I don't have anything for you week one. Drove my cherry of a 96 Olds Cutlass Sierra down to Harrison, Arkansas. No paycheck. I wasn't on the show. Just sat my happy ass down, shut up and watched. And that was actually the first independent show I'd ever attended. It was one I was trying to get booked on. Just kind of, we were all kind of, Craig's kids were street ball kids. We had to get it our own way. We didn't have a promotion, showing us, the welcome in mat. But I'm thankful for that. Like, it's really kind of helped me form my own identity. And I have a better perspective, I think, for as short a time as I've had in the business. I've wrestled for a lot of promotions and I've seen a lot of different things, and just getting that, broader worldview in the pro wrestling sense, I feel like has helped me be really well-rounded for where I'm at.
Definitely. Scott, I was sitting there thinking, when we first did that episode, what was that? Almost 2 years now, or just a year?
I saw the little bumper you guys ran during the show, and I was like, damn. I was in my coaching stuff. My first year, my rookie year in wrestling was also my first year teaching and coaching. So that had to have been fall of 23. That was at least 2 years ago at this point.
Okay.
So
Okay.
It's been a minute.
Yeah. So that's what I was thinking, because I was like, it doesn't feel like it was last year. It felt like it was the year before.
Yeah, it was years. You guys have been doing. I mean, you guys got OG status now. Y'all been doing this for a minute.
Yeah.
You're sticking around. I love it.
Yeah. kind of coming back and coming and going. Looking back though, where you just mentioned that was your rookie year and you were coaching. Thinking back to Scott Hansen in fall of 2023 and Scott Hansen now, what would you chalk up to be like your biggest improvements and the things that you're super confident about when you go out and perform?
Man, I still got a long ways to go on it. I really do, and I know that. But at that point, if you would have had me try to chain wrestle somebody for more than 15 seconds, I couldn't have given you more than 2 holds. Truthfully, that's something that's always kind of been something I really want to work more on and really want to get better on. And I really try to study closely, and that's the biggest to me emphasis on little things in pro wrestling. I think comes in chain wrestling. But to that extent, like, I watch myself even a year ago and I'm like, damn, I thank God I've come a long way since then. And then I watched myself 6 months ago and I'm like, man, I'm still learning. So I'm just determined to never rest on my laurels. And I just don't want to ever get complacent, because that's when you start, bottoming out. And I love this so much. Like, I always want to keep getting better at it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, was there someone, because I've been in multiple venues where you've wrestled, and one of the biggest pops of the night, usually from a move standpoint, is when you climb that top rope and people know the 450 is coming. Where, do you remember the first time you did that, and if you were confident that you were going to land it?
So I was super hyperactive as a kid, and around the same time I was getting into pro wrestling, I was begging my mom to get us a trampoline. And I would just get on there at 11, 12. I mean, barely weighing 70 pounds. And I would try 450s. I would try shooting stars. I would specifically try the Brock Lesnar WrestleMania 19, stalling shooting star. So I attribute a lot of that confidence legitimately to being a little shit on the trampoline, just going for it. The first time I ever tried it without a crash pad was actually live at the Fountain City show in Justice for All against Rex. So the first time I ever did it with a body was live and for real. There's certain stuff you can't do in training. You don't have the adrenaline. You don't have the concept that you can't back out. So just kind of putting your back against the wall and saying, well, I kind of got to do this brings the best out in you sometimes.
That's wild to think that, because I've watched that 450 100 times, and that's crazy to think that was your first time doing it, and not scared you were going to crush poor Rex's esophagus.
Man, and that time specifically, I remember taking a header. Since then, I've learned the nuances and how to control it. But for the first couple months I was doing it, I had that Billy Kidman steez where when he was doing the shooting star, it was just kind of well, wherever he lands, he lands.
Yep.
I've got it dialed in now, and I can taper it back or pick up the pace while I'm in midair now. But yeah, when I was first throwing them, I was like, well, gotta go.
Yeah. I so kind of that question I asked you, what do you see the differences from 2 years ago to now? I think the biggest thing that I've noticed for you, Scott, is you are super, super comfortable out there now. It's flowing for you, not just like in ring, you're flowing outside with the character. You're feeling the crowd. It doesn't, when you're out there, brother, like you don't look like you're putting on a show for people. Like it looks natural. You look like handsome Scott Hansen. And the moves, like I said, your timing in the ring and your structures, that is a big thing with, probably you having so much, elbow bumping elbows with guys like JJ, guys like Niles, but your psychology in the ring is so much matured as well. Like I love the dive out of the ring. That's one of my like favorite things that you do, is just because like I've seen people do that on TV where they run towards the corner and they dive from the corner out to the ring. And like you see that shit on TV, but when you watch somebody do it, like you're the first person I've seen do it live. And so it flows really well.
That's extremely high praise, and seriously, that means a ton. Yeah, the dives, they're another one of those things where it's, that's something you don't even ever practice. You just kind of throw it and hope for the best.
Yep.
So, I wanted to talk about your time you've already brought up Mid-States, Jason Jones. What is it like to have a company of that stature and kind of longevity that they've had to kind of put their company on your back as the heavyweight champion?
Man, I am just so thankful for JJ and Mid-States. They were, like I said, they were the first promotion to ever book me. I had my first few matches there. So they kind of, JJ really believed in me from day one. And, that comes back to the Craig training. Hey, put in work, sit down, shut up, listen, don't speak unless you're spoken to. The guard of pro wrestling, I think for a large part of the United States is still pretty old school. And a lot of them, if they weren't involved in the territories firsthand, when they were breaking into the business, all the guys that got them in were direct results from the territories. So there's still a lot of that left. And I really want to carry that with me the rest of my career. Because, Mid-States, it's old school wrestling, but at the same time, you come to a show and you see me and Luke Langley or me and Austin Lee or Mulatalo and CTV, that's not just old school. You're getting, as they say, bangers. So for them putting their trust in me, it was huge, man. When I got wind, I was winning the heavyweight title. I thought I was being ribbed, truthfully. I was like, no, that's sweet of you guys, but I'm not there yet. To be less than 3 years into, working matches, and then putting faith in me like that, it's huge. And rather than, just being proud of that, it just makes me hungrier and makes me want to work harder. I don't want to have somebody say, he was a decent champion for a while, but there's probably a reason he doesn't have the belt anymore. Whenever it's taken off of me, I want people to say, no, obviously, he's an asset wherever he goes. He wants to be in title contention, but at the same time, I'm not a belt mark. It means less to me to have one of those than it just means to have good matches and entertain the crowd. But as far as Mid-States goes, I owe them a million thank yous.
Yeah. Was that the ladder match?
So the ladder match last year against Langley, I came up short. I took the brain buster off the little ladder plank. Yeah. I won the heavyweight title. It was a 4-way this past June. So I've held the heavyweight title since this past June.
Okay.
Are you still with Steven Espinosa?
Oh yes. Uncle Steven and I are still terrorizing Mid-States wrestling.
Yeah,
there you go.
You're Steve's other client is also Austin Moitalo, correct?
That is correct. Yes, Mid-States currently has a couple strapping young, handsome, astonishing, athletes at their helm. So if you're not catching those mid-state shows, you're really missing out in terms of Missouri, Arkansas, Independence. It's top notch.
They have a show coming up in Springfield soon, don't they?
Yes, sir. This weekend, November 8th, is the second annual Champions Divisional Blind Draw Tournament, which I will be in as the heavyweight champion and also defending my Blind Draw Divisional Tournament Cup as I was the inaugural winner last year.
Nice.
So you have wrestled also as we kind of transition from mid-states up to the Kansas City, St. Joe area. You've wrestled obviously a couple times in Fountain City Pro, Central States Wrestling, and at least around here, you've got I see a lot of handsome red T-shirts that kind of travel with you to your events. Like that must be cool to have kind of that fan base. I don't know if they're family, friends, but I mean, you got that fan base coming with you to cheer you on at most events, especially in Kansas City.
It's a good mix of family, friends, and honestly just fans that over the last couple of years, they just come to me at the merch table. I wouldn't be wrestling without them. So, I always try to make them feel, heard. They're genuine relationships that I really enjoy forming. And I feel like when you treat somebody at the merch table, not like a transaction, but when you treat it as a relationship, because that's what it is. I think people really enjoy the authenticity of that. I've been having, the Hansen one, T-shirts have been getting bigger at the CSW and FCP crowds. I love Kansas City so much. Even though I'm from St. Joe, it's essentially, the better part of Kansas City. Wrestling here it's a blast. I really can't get enough of it.
Yeah. It's crazy to go to those mid-stage shows in St. Joe and a third, if not almost half that crowd is wearing those red Hansen one shirts. So, and JJ doesn't put on small shows in St. Joe. JJ's pulling like 300 plus people at the shows.
Yeah, the St. Joe shows are pandemonium, and it's really cool for me because, like I said, as a kid, I wasn't really super into pro wrestling until I was like 11 or 12. And even then, it took me a couple years before I figured out what, Ring of Honor was or, what the independent scene really was. I didn't pick up a PWI until I was like 13. So it's cool to me to be at the Armory where, Samoa Joe and Strider wrestled, AJ Styles and Darian Sanders wrestled, like dudes who I worshipped growing up, and their art is gospel to me, have wrestled in the same building. To me that's super cool, and it's also my hometown that it happens to be in. So all of that, the two St. Joe shows, if anything, they're just icing on the cake for all of this.
Oh yeah, definitely. If you don't mind me asking, Scott, the handsome Scott Hansen character, the way you present yourself, the way, just everything about Scott Hansen, where do you pull those inspirations from?
Man, it's an amalgamation of so much. Earlier in my, when I was first starting, a lot of it, I'm huge into movies, television. A lot of it was, I don't know if you guys are familiar with It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yep.
But I've drawn a lot from Dennis Reynolds. And kind of this guy's a total sociopath and is totally, unaware of his actual presence and thinks much higher of himself than he actually is. So, when you're getting handsome Scott Hansen with the fur coat, that's not as nice. There's a lot of that in there. Watching a lot of old Rick Martel and just the way that, especially his body language, Rick Martel's body language and, how he carried himself, and a lot of that stuff, a lot of the 80s, 90s guys, some of the Mr. Perfect stuff, I adapted into it because you'd see those vignettes of him, throwing a football to himself or, doing some sporting thing, and just being a lifelong athlete. I'm like, yeah, like, some of that's got to rub off on me. And then, especially as a heel, I'm decently athletic, and I want to do athletic stuff, but as a heel, it's kind of like, hey, you gotta leave that to the good guys. So I watched a lot of Austin Aries over the years and learning how to incorporate, some athletic cool stuff, but still, making it make sense psychologically.
Yep.
And as a good guy, man, it's me turned up to 11. Like the last show, and one of the things for me, and this is me admitting something kind of personal. Like, I, as a babyface, I kind of, for a while, I didn't work babyface like when I first started. So it's been a struggle. It's been a long time coming for me. I would always be like, man, I don't know what to do when I go out there. How do I make the people like me? And like the last Fountain City show, it's super small detail. Like I came out and without thinking, I did I don't know if you guys remember Victor Cruz from the New York Giants, like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
He had a crazy couple years. He used to do the salsa dance in the end zone. Just without thinking, I came out and did that. And I don't even know if it looked good. Like it probably looked goofy as hell, but like I'm just being me out there. Like it's me cranked up to 11. And I'm just hoping that people are gonna like it. I'm being me, so it's believable. And I feel like if you're believable out there, the people believe in you.
Yep. Yeah. If that's what it is, man, I will tell you firsthand that it's working. So, definitely.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I wanted to talk to you and just get your opinion on what you thought about your match at the 2 Fountain City Pro shows ago, where you faced CTV, Colton Vaught. Was that and I think we talked beforehand, that was your first one-on-one match with CTV, right?
Yes. Prior to that, we'd worked one tag team match before, and it was about a year earlier. And truthfully, in that match, him and I had minimal interaction. So as somebody I've seen so many matches of and had so much interaction with, getting to finally step in there, and it's like, all right, like now we're duking it out. Like now, I'm the one that's taking the kicks where he kind of gets into the zone and gets into his MMA stuff. You're taking those kicks that as they lay on, they stiffen up, and it's like, okay, he's going hard. I'm going to go hard. That was probably some of the most fun I've ever had in a pro wrestling ring, where, it's just like, damn, we're having a blast out here. Like, and I know he is, just from his body language and the fact that he's a gamer just like me. Like that was an extremely fulfilling match.
Yeah. We've got, our VIP matches prior to the shows. Those go on our Patreons. I'm working on splicing some matches right now to put on YouTube, just to drop matches here or there. That one is definitely that one's definitely on the chopping block of I think we're gonna put this one on YouTube. So
hey, that one's for the people. If you want to give it some good content, as they call it, I without bias, I would recommend that one.
Yeah. I got a question for you, Scott.
Yeah.
Looking out in the independent wrestling landscape, do you follow a lot of indie promotions?
I try to. One of the things that helps me a ton, honestly, is Twitter. I'm still on there on the daily.
Yeah.
We've
had that conversation.
Sometimes I tweet and I'm like, dude, I'm tweeting to nobody anymore. Some of my stuff doesn't get any love, which, not that I'm asking for it, but I'm just like, damn, I used to be putting up numbers when I was 18, and I still had friends on Twitter.
Yeah.
But
that was when Twitter was kind of normal. So.
Exactly. I try to keep up with as much as I can. I would say that, I have a pretty good grasp on it, especially with the Midwest region. I pretty much have, my nose to the grindstone. But with that said, what was your question?
I was going to ask you, is there an indie wrestling promotion that, you watch on IWTV or you watch on Twitter or YouTube where you go man, I really want to work there?
It's a big indie, but Wrestling Revolver, they run those Des Moines shows up there in Clive, and the presentation is top notch. What you know, I sound like a kid for this because it's a really juvenile answer to what got me hooked into them. But like the hype packages that they make after the events, like whatever music they got cooking up on it is super sick. And you know, they always good editing to me. Will do a ton for any promotion. If you can, you know, make the edit match up with the music, and you have good music on there. To me, that's 2/3 of the battle. Because if you got some whack tunes, people aren't going to want to keep watching. Wrestling Revolver is one of them. I'm a huge fan of anything Chicago. So the other CSW, Chicago style wrestling, would love to get my foot in the door there. And then, you know, I'm sitting back and watching all the St. Louis promotions and seeing all the dudes down there. You know, I'd love to work down in St. Louis.
Absolutely. You know, so making the towns, I got to ask you, you know, as we kind of like wrap this up or kind of wind this down, kind of something I wanted to introduce on the show, but if we're making the towns, brother, what are you playing? Like what's coming out of the aux?
This is the type of stuff you need to be asking everybody. Man.
Hey, I'll tell you what, that question was inspired by Campbell Myers.
That's the
because
guy.
I heard Campbell's music taste is as bipolar as I am in real life. Like, so
real. I've been with him and Bishop and old Rex. We went up to Fargo, North Dakota last summer for a Below Zero show. And so that was like 18 hours in the car, and we mixed it up a ton. Man, I'm big on, and this might seem insane, I love solo wrestling trips. Like I love to me it's therapeutic just being in the car with myself, and I will jam the hell out, man.
The ride there, I'll agree with you. The ride there, love it. The ride home, bro, I need a road dog. So,
yeah, that's very fair. When it's
and I'm not doing long trips, Scott. I'm doing 3 hours.
Totally understandable. I'll give you kind of my forecast for at least 2025. And kind of crazy, man. A lot of Sabrina Carpenter. No lie. I've been getting into some Taylor Swift. She's like
same.
You kind of hate to like it, but at the same time, it's like she's getting to the point now where like it's irresistible. Like she has a lot of songs she'll put out, and I'm like, I wasn't really feeling that one. But lately, more often than not, like I'll hear something and I'm like, I don't like that. I like that, but I like that. So yeah, my pop girlies, man. I'm always there for that. Some Britney, I'll throw that on. A lot of like late 90s, 2000s rock, divorced dad rock, as they call it. Man, anything with like, it's crazy. Like pro wrestling has legitimately shaped a lot of my music taste. So, you know, I'll throw on some Stained. I'll throw on, man, a lot of Limp Bizkit, huge Fred Durst mark. I got into Seven Dust this year, which I always knew about them, but I'd never really deep dove. And I did, and they're killer. Other than that, man, I can always go for some Alice in Chains. A lot of like 90s, 2000s pop, especially when I'm on road trips. I have a playlist on Spotify that's called 105.5 when I was a kid. That's literally the name of it. And it's KJO 105.5 is the top 40 station in St. Joe. And it's literally just all songs from like 99 to like 2012, like just any song I would have heard randomly, like on top 40 radio as a child. Super into older music. I mean, I always keep my ear out for new stuff too, but there's just so much music that's been put out into the earth over the last 100 years that so many people haven't discovered. And I'm just always trying to find, stuff from the past that sounds good. And it's like, okay, then that gets me inspired to think about like, what can I do in this match? Like what would flow good with this song? Like I hate to sound like this because I don't plan my wrestling around making highlight videos, but like, what would this look like in a highlight video? Would that be something that would chop up cool? Like,
Yeah.
And I don't plan my matches around that, but man, I love a good highlight reel. Like, I think for a lot of people, especially in today's social media age, if you're putting out short form content, a crisp, match highlight with a good song, that'll hook somebody.
Yeah. I was gonna say that divorced dad rock. We were teenagers listening to that, bro. Like I could name every WWE pay-per-view song from 2001 to 2005.
Exactly. So many of those. Like you got like 18 Seether songs, like
Seether, Saliva, and Drowning Pool were like the three main ones that they put their songs around. It's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of that stuff is gospel.
As we round this out here, I want to give a shout out to the people in the chat. We got Broderick Halls here. Appreciate you tuning in. Hunter Dillon was here in the chat. Appreciate Hunter. Who's that? Chase MT Tom.
I have no idea.
Well, he knows you. What's up, Chase?
Yeah, I saw him say that. I was like, okay, not bad.
Jim Elliott, Broderick Hall, Jordan. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Go check out Jordan Turner Photography. Does some great pro wrestling. So let's promote some of your upcoming stuff that we can see you at in the local area. You already talked about, Mid-States on the 8th. What else we got coming up?
Love to promote. I just love getting the name out there for, not even companies I work for, but just anybody. Pro wrestling is still so word of mouth. So just getting this platform to, talk about that is killer. But we got Mid-States Wrestling, second annual Champions Blind Draw Divisional Tournament in Springfield, Missouri this weekend, among other great matches. Luke Langley's going to be there. We got the Silverback Joe Helms has kind of been poking back around in Springfield, going to return to the Mid-States ring. A few Oklahoma guys should be there that, kind of rarer appearances. Shout out to Oklahoma Wrestling. They got the commission to deal with too. So they understand that Missouri pain. Yeah. Then November 15th, back at it again at Mid-States, this time in Harrison, Arkansas, at the Northwest Arkansas District Fairgrounds building. The Harrison shows for Mid-States, they always hold a special place in my heart because that was where my first match was. But you get in this old fairgrounds building and, from the outside, it's very meager. It's very unassuming. But the way that it's set up down there is professional. It's second to none. It feels like old school wrestling. Then after that, we got, early in December, we got CSW. We got the cold winter war. And my match my match for that just got announced tonight. I'll be going up against Mr. Dread Roberts. So looking to actually avenge a loss from him. The last Strider era CSW show in March of 24. Took a loss to Dread Roberts. So this has been a long time in the making. Most people probably aren't even going to acknowledge the callback because it's been a minute. But looking to avenge the loss there. I think that Dread, he got that award. He's gone through a lot in the last, year and a half. But at the same time, I'm going to give him my all because that's how he wants it. Him and I, we got into pro wrestling together. He was a Craig guy. So, when you kind of get those people who are in your small circle and you're wrestling them, you always want to bring your A game. And then, nothing's been formally announced yet. But since I-70 is doing it big, since you guys are really in your bag, and you're here to stay, you came back, I'll make a little live announcement on air. off the cuff.
Breaking
Off
news.
the cuff. Expect a St. Joseph, Missouri show again, right around that holiday season.
Yes.
Like it.
I like it too.
But yeah,
Um,
that's rounding out the new year, baby.
I love it. Scott, do you have anywhere online or on your social medias that we can direct people to go buy some handsome Scott Hansen merch?
As far as online goes, as the professionals would say it, I don't have the infrastructure quite yet, but I have my merch out at every show. I'm there during intermission. I'm there before the show. I'm there after the show. It kind of, if someone wants to buy my stuff, they can hit me up on all my social medias. I'll plug those in a minute. And I'm more than happy to ship it. But I think, just making those connections at the wrestling shows, at that merch table, to me is so important. And just getting to know the fans and getting to take the time to meet them. And, just hear what they have to say, hear their 2 cents, and if they don't even buy anything, that doesn't bug me at all, just get in the conversations. So if you want to buy something from me, hit me up on social media, or, more importantly, come up to me at a show. We'll chop it up. I'd be more than happy to talk to you about anything. And some people do talk about anything, and I'm cool with it. So yeah, plug in the socials real quick. Find me on Facebook, just Scott Hansen. I'm on Twitter. It's at Scott Hansen 33. I try to stay active on there still. If anyone's using it, and then Instagram, it's the Scott Hansen, THEE Scott Hansen. Like I said, I'm super blessed to be in the position that I am and have all these opportunities and have, like you said, rubbed elbows with some great pro wrestling minds. And I'm incredibly thankful that you guys wanted me to be the one to help welcome you back on the air. It's a huge honor. And you guys are doing it big. The podcast is in great hands. I'm glad you guys are bringing it back. And obviously with Fountain City Pro, I mean, look at how much that's grown in the last, year. I'm super happy to be around such great people.
Yes, absolutely. We're happy to have you, man. And super excited to see where you go in 2026. Do me a huge favor. Take a moment and tell everybody. I know you mentioned like on your Twitter, is Twitter Twitter and Facebook the only social medias you have?
I'm active on Instagram, the Scott Hansen. It's the THEE rather than just the. I decided I had to be special.
Yeah.
So I'm always active on the gram, always active on Facebook, always active on Twitter. I don't have TikTok. I'll be real. I'm kind of like anti-TikTok. You know what? I got a couple seconds. I'll get on my soapbox a little bit. I'm not a content creator. I'm not an influencer. That's not what I want to be. That's not what I want to do. I want to wrestle, and I'm me. So, if you like the way I wrestle, cool. If you don't, let me know at least, because, either way you're engaging. I just put myself out there, and if people like it, awesome. Like, social media is important to me, but at the end of the day, I'm not trying to be an influencer. I'm trying to be a wrestler. So that's my soapbox moment.
Hey, you picked the right place. It's better you than me. Okay.
Yep.
I felt you on that.
I gotta ask, man, are you the one doing the video edits, or?
Yes, that's
okay.
me.
And are you doing other people's video edits?
Yes.
Okay, because I was gonna say I noticed a little bit of a.
It's I kind of keep it. It's been on the DL. But
no, you're fine.
Man, like I was saying earlier with the music and the wrestling, like that's peanut butter and jelly to me, and getting the chance to chop up other people's footage and just make it look good and make it, make the sounds complement the slams. To me, that's, I love doing that.
Yeah, no, I dig it too, man. I saw one and I almost commented as the Fountain City Pro Instagram account. I almost commented on that, like, yo, did Hansen make this? I just stopped myself
on the burner for that one.
I can't have too many burners because then mistakes will happen. And
right.
Yep.
All right, Scott. We really appreciate you being our first guest back. And what we'll do, you saw it in the intro. We'll kind of refresh your. This is Scott Hansen. You're watching the I-70 Hot Tag. So if you wouldn't mind, we'll put you full screen, and then we'll turn up the gimmick and have you say that, and then we'll close this out.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's do it.
This is Handsome Scott Hansen, charmed, I'm sure, and you are watching the I-70 Hot Tag. And Handsome said it, so you know it's real.
Love it. Love it. Scott, again, cannot thank you enough for being for helping us get back into the flow of this and helping out starting it back up. And man, super excited to see where 2026 leads you.
Same to you guys. This was an honor. It was a pleasure. It was an absolute blast. Love chopping it up with you guys. Anytime you want to have me, I'll happily break Ray Leon's record if you want to have me on again.
There you go.
I like it.
Have a good night, sir.
All right, buddy. See you later.
Hey, take care, fellas.
See you, man. All right.
Are we breaking?
Are we breaking? We don't got to break. No. We.
I was gonna say. I mean, we don't have really anything else left to do except for.
Let's. We could roll it to our sponsors. But we don't got any sponsors. So.
Yeah. Well, we do technically, kind of. One of the reasons. Kind of before we go on, again, huge thank you to Scott for coming on. Appreciate everybody. A few people watching at the beginning, and now we're ending almost in the double digits. For not going live and not being consistent for months. Come live again and have people watch and join us. We appreciate it. If you guys haven't already, make sure you hit the like button, follow button, hearts, whatever. Any interaction you give the video, the live stream, it does help the algorithm push our content out to other people that want to see it. Now my camera is super wide. That was weird. But I'm also on a big monitor. So the cool thing is I've got this standing desk. So I'm not sitting. I kind of can't sit down. I didn't want to talk about this before we did the interview, but had a procedure done today, and it hurts to sit down. So this is where a standing desk has come in handy, and I appreciate it. So, love everybody hanging out with us. Love everybody interacting with us. We're gonna try this, guys, and we're gonna keep going and see where it goes. Josh, do you kind of want to take a moment to break down like kind of what the I-70 Hot Tag will look like now going forward?
Yeah, man. So we will continue to do what we just did each and every week, and we'll continue to go on Thursday nights. We're going to interview our local independent wrestling talent in Kansas and Missouri. We'll focus on the Midwest, so it'll most likely be a wrestler you've seen locally here in our area. And we will see what they got going on, promote their upcoming bookings. No matter where they're at, they're going to promote each and every one of their bookings and kind of promote and continue promoting what we started way back in 2022, April of 22. Crazy, it was that long ago when we started the first episode. But and then after that, we will then move forward and instead of going through independent wrestling events, we are going to kind of take a detour, so to speak. And if you guys have seen, I know a couple people in the chat have seen, on Nostalgia Mania, we kind of take a look back at previous wrestling shows. And that's what we're going to do here on the I-70 Hot Tag, specifically wrestling shows that happened in this area, Kansas City, St. Louis, and there are a lot of them that happened here, whether it be Raw, SmackDown, Nitro, Thunder, pay-per-views, NWA, anything that happened in this general area. Wichita, there's some Raws and SmackDowns that happened in Wichita. So we got a whole list of them, and we're just going to pick one each week, and we're going to bring it up, and we're going to talk about what happened on that event in that venue on that night. So,
and we'll be live. We'll do the same thing that we're doing, interact with you guys in the chat, Especially when we're interviewing people, we encourage people to ask questions in the chat that we can ask people. And then after the live stream, the shows will get saved to the Fountain City Pro Patreon, which is $5 a month. And you get all of Fountain City Pro's full shows. You also get some exclusive content. And one of the exclusive contents is the replays of the I-70 hot tag. So there you go. Did we have a show, or since we're right at an hour, are we just gonna because I apologize. I wasn't sure what the rundown was.
We don't have a rundown. That was completely unscripted.
Yeah.
And we were going to focus. We were going to kind of jot and discuss a little bit of our last Fountain City Pro show. We don't necessarily have to do that. You guys can go out and you want to do that?
No. I was going to say, yeah, I'm cool with promoting the future shows, and then closing out.
Yeah, so let's do that then. We kind of already talked about. I got graphics for the majority of these, so let's. And I got them in order by the next upcoming event. So Scott talked about this one. This is happening this weekend in Springfield, Missouri, at the Relics Event Center. You're going to see the champions, Scott Hansen, Austin Muitalo. They're going to be there. Also, Gary Roosevelt, the Kansas champion, is going to be there as well. Go check them out. The second annual blind draw.
Nothing against Gary. Gary's great. I was going to say that's a great group of young guys that they've got there at Mid-States that they utilize. Colton Theron-Vaught is missing from that group. Like I said, Gary's great. But the tag team champions, Austin Muitalo, Austin Lee, Scott Hansen, CTV, Mid-States has a great group of young guys coming out of there.
Yep. Coming
through there.
Yep. And they've also got a couple shows in between there. That's the only graphic I've got, but November 15th. Also early December is another Mid-States show. So they got 3 shows to close out the year.
We'll catch those next week.
So yeah,
we'll get those added next week or the week after.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So also same day, November 8th, in the middle of Missouri, World League Wrestling 26th anniversary show is happening at the Harley Race Wrestling Arena in Troy, Missouri, which is crazy because the last time we had a show on a regular basis, they had not yet merged or I guess partnered with NWA.
Yeah.
So
it is actually NWA.
I don't know if your microphone's jacked up, but I can't hardly hear you.
Oh, my bad. What about now?
I hear you now.
All right. I was just gonna say, they're like affiliated or a territory of NWA now, so it is officially NWA World League Wrestling.
Yep. All right. November 16th, KCXW Checkpoint happened at the XWC in Raytown, Missouri. Go check them out. If you got a phone handy, scan that QR code. You can go check them out. That is where they normally train as well. So you get to see kind of an inside scoop of where they typically train at the XWC.
It's a Sunday, isn't it?
November 16th. I don't know. I have to look at the calendar. Probably.
All right.
Yes, that is a Sunday. Yes, and we'll just do this last 2 here. We've got Show Me State Wrestling coming in November 22nd, Martin Community Center in Marshall, Missouri. So you can see Tobias Storm, Austin Muitalo, Blair Dior, and El Diablo. I'm pretty sure El Diablo, I think, is their champion. So
I think so.
So we had El Diablo on back in the day.
We did. That interview is I don't know if that interview is anywhere to be found because some dum-dum forgot to press record halfway through. So only half of it exists. But it's still a very, very unique interview that I love to talk about. For those that have ever met the Aztec warrior El Diablo, you would know that he is over 3,000 years old. and he speaks a long lost language that nobody else speaks. So he had to have a special interpreter translate to us what he was saying.
Yeah,
on that show.
It was crazy.
Yep.
Well, that's crazy. And then last but not least, to round out November, also on November 22nd, we've got HCW Devastation, Nowhere to Run. Kit Reaver is going to be there.
Huge shout out to illustrious Ray Leon, who's had a lot of mentions on this show tonight, I just realized. But Ray Leon is as a side hobby is doing graphics and is helping make graphics for HCW.
Nice. I did not know that.
Yep.
Did not know that. Sweet. All right, that rounds out November. I think I got everybody. If I did not, we will promote them next week. What's going on next week, Chase? We got an episode next week?
I think we do. Which is crazy. Because the other gentleman that we have talked about a few times on this show is going to be making his I-70 hot tag debut. Must-see TV, Colton Vaught, who you see in Mid-States, you've seen in CSW, you've seen in Fountain City Pro. Fun little scoop. Colton was actually supposed to be at the last Fountain City Pro event, but his fight that is this Saturday on the same day as Mid-States got rescheduled to that date. So he had to be in fight prep mode and couldn't take a match. So it's going to be super fun to talk to Colton about the mix of, doing MMA actively and doing pro wrestling, and doing it pretty good. So super excited for that one, man.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. I've been a big fan of CTV. Glad we've got to see him in Fountain City, and we're going to see him here on the I-70 hot tag. And as long as everything goes as planned, as we talked about a little bit earlier, our subtopic is going to be the very first WWF SmackDown, which happened at Kemper Arena in Kansas City, Missouri.
Man.
So,
I don't even have to go watch that, dude. I still remember it like the back of my hand.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch it anyways.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch it anyways. But I still, I'm not lying because I was messaging you and I was telling you all what happened there. So I'm excited for it, man. Do an interview with an up and coming young kid around the area, CTV, and then turn right around and break down the very first SmackDown, the first episode of SmackDown, and we'll get into that as well, hopefully.
Yep.
All right, sir. Man, I missed you guys so much. This is so much fun.
It has been
a lot better than getting yelled at by my wife and kids all night. So I appreciate you guys.
Heard that.
Saving me. Especially
heard that. Yeah. So
Megan, or somebody probably asked Megan, where's Josh at? He's downstairs doing his stupid podcast.
Yeah, he does it 2 nights a week now.
Love it.
Oh, speaking of Broderick Hall, before we close this out, man, that next week's episode is brought to you by Broderick Hall Insurance.
Yes.
Go check
Broderick
that out.
Hall Insurance. If you need educated and need help on your home, auto, life, business, any insurance you can think of, Broderick Hall Insurance Agency is going to be your one-stop shop. Make sure you get in touch with Broderick Hall and find out how you can get a quote. Licensed in Kansas and Missouri.
There you go.
Yes.
There you go.
Got close it. Got a plug in for a sponsor. Got an interview done. Sitting right over a little over an hour. I mean, not too long over an hour. We're gonna get out of here. What a great episode to come back to, man.
It was good.
It was hella good. I love it. I don't hate it.
Don't hate it. All right. I would like you to close out every episode as you always do.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Chase Riley. This is my friend, my co-host, the real Josh Elliott. We appreciate you for joining us for the 93rd episode of the I-70 Hot Tag. And I would love to tell you good fight and good night, but that was an old thing I stole from somebody else. I would like to come up with something new. So for now, we're just going to say good fight and good night.